Welcome back to Drum Corps Show Design 101, where you learn to design a drum corps show of substance. In this episode, Uniqueness. Whether your show is an Oscar-winning movie, a TV series, Cirque du Soleil, a music video, or a drum corps show, or a basement comedy improv show, the components are the same. These time-honored 5 components come from the tenets of ancient Greek drama and are essential to the human storytelling experience, even if your show has no story, and even if your show is abstract or subconsciously derived.
First, cohesion ties all your show elements together around a central subject and theme. Second, universality is the quality of essential human truth in the subject and theme of your show. Third, authenticity is the quality of convincingness in your production.
And in this episode, let's discuss the 4th essential quality, uniqueness. Uniqueness is an essential quality in a production that puts your own stamp on a show, linking the performer to the material in an ineluctable way. You're creating a production that is profoundly your own. A rare, singular, and unmatched version, unequaled in history, with a new point of view, full of authentic depth and resonance.
The drum corps activity's early days were marked by complete uniformity and rigid adherence to rules of execution in proud military tradition. Drum corps' early shows were intentionally similar in music selection, style, and structure, one after another. The drills contained nearly identical maneuvers. The arrangements were nearly all the same in style. The music selection centered around traditional military songs and musical theater tunes in a freestyle jukebox format. For example, in 1972, the Battle Hymn of the Republic was played by 15 different corps. Even the uniforms between competing corps were almost identical.
Drum corps audiences began to crave original material. Audiences grew tired of the limited repertoire, the lack of drill innovation, and became tired of the stylistic conformity where every drill looked the same. Social change in the 1970s inspired a big rule change, led by visionary Don Warren of the Cavaliers.
With the stylistic innovation and changes to the format, drum corps remains fresh, increased in its sophistication, and increased the breadth of its audience. Drum corps were no longer traveling cover bands, playing random tunes like a jukebox. Drum corps became a performing arts production with depth and resonance and even original compositions. Now drum corps is an art form that illustrates the very most complex subjects and themes that life has to offer. The marching arts have become a legitimate art form, breaking free of its stoic, restrictive military roots.
Here are the format changes which transformed drum corps into an art form. Each show is now completely unique. The activity has a wider repertoire. The activity has a wider instrumentation. Musical selections and arrangements are more varied, more complex, and more sophisticated. Each show has a specific visual design, custom to the subject and theme of the show. Each show has a subject and theme which supports its musical choices, even if it's non-narrative with no story. Without the continual addition of unique features, the drum corps activity would lack originality, and eventually lose its audience. Art forms require a continual adding of new information to keep its social relevance and audience connection. And drum corps is no different.
In the performing arts, the essential dramatic actions are repeated over and over again. So the challenge for a designer is to find a one-of-a-kind context for the meaning underneath the music. Here's how. The designer makes a specific high-stakes thematic argument about life as we know it or imagine it. The designer creates a completely original context for the music, unique and profound. The designer draws audiences in, around fresh material. The designer differentiates the production on the timeline of artistic perception and philosophy. Here are some tips and tricks for setting your design apart.
A production becomes unique when you change the context. 1. Change the narrative setting of the music, including a change of who, what, or where. 2. Change the historical context of the music. 3. Change the mood, style, tone, and palette of the piece. 4. Change the activity and central action featured in the production. And 5. Change the style of movement in the show.
So uniqueness doesn't only refer to finding new music or creating unusual headgear. Uniqueness is the quality of a never-seen-before context for the music you play. Let's look at an example. Medea was played by Star of Indiana in 1993 with a minimalist visual theme, but without narrative elements, and without a progression of action, and without an articulable theme, other than general anger at the activity, along with red flags at the end. But the same piece, Medea, was better illustrated in a new context by Carolina Crown in 2016, with a Western movie theme about the cycle of gun violence in America. The show's interpretation of Samuel Barber's Medea was insightful, profound, and never seen before. Two versions of the same music. Here's another example. Many chors and marching bands have played Roy Orbison's Unchained Melody, but the unique interpretation of Unchained Melody in Academy's 2014 production of Drum Corps' Bride put a new spin on the time-honored music. A new macabre setting, a new activity, and a new comedic context. The chor's artistic statement is powerful because of the unique spin they put on the music. They made Unchained Melody their own.
Drum corps has survived all of its phases of development so far. Every unique innovation goes through a cycle of acceptance, first complaining, then taste testing the change and then embracing it. Remember how old-timers complained about recordings until this? This experimentation proved entertaining. But not all stylistic changes are as successful. Remember the kooky trend in choreography of falling down and recovering, a modern dance move overused in the 2010s. Sometimes dancers were asked to fall down, roll on the ground and get back up 30 or 40 times in a single show for absolutely no logical reason or artistic purpose. Drum corps has survived such stylistic experimentation. But the activity continues to innovate and create profound and meaningful shows, with references to great literary works, and even high-stakes social commentary. The overall pattern is clear. Innovation and stylistic adaptability has given drum corps a longevity, a sustainability, and true artistic merit. Uniqueness is the heart of this art form.